Have you ever considered that you might be autistic? That's a question my therapist asked me 3 years ago, and ever since that moment, I've pretty much assumed that I am. But I've never actually known for sure. So today I'm taking the RADS-R, one of the most widely used autism screening questionnaires. It's not necessarily a diagnosis, but it might give me a few answers.
Back in the day, mental health did not exist. And I think probably Asian people are the most obtuse when it comes to mental stuff. So I never even knew what autism was really. I believe there's 80 or so questions. So we're gonna go through this and see if we may potentially be autistic, which I do believe I am. I very strongly believe I am. I am a sympathetic person. These are kind of hard. I think it's hard for me to be sympathetic. It's hard for me to put myself in someone else's shoes. I struggle with that a lot. And sometimes I question, I'm like, why is someone being like this? True now and when I was young, yes. I often use words and phrases from movies and television in conversations. What? Wait, does anyone do this? I don't think I've ever quoted a movie or television show in my life. So I guess never true. I'm often surprised when others tell me I have been rude. Yes. I think I can come off as rude a lot, but a lot of times it's because I feel like I'm just trying to get to the point. I think it's weird. I think in some situations I can be very polite. I'm almost like a chameleon, I think. But in other cases, dude, you know what's annoying? When I talk to I'm buying something, right? A cashier or something, it's actually pretty bad. I feel like sometimes they'll ask me how I'm doing, and then I'll try to just pass it. Avoid the conversation. I don't ignore them or anything, but I'm like, I'm good. And then I'm just move on. Okay, sometimes I talk too loudly or too softly and I'm not aware of it. I think sometimes I can be pretty loud. I'm usually not too soft, but I don't think I was loud when I was younger. I think I'm only loud now. Interesting. This is the first one where I feel like I'm different. I feel like when I was a kid, I was really, really quiet. I often don't know how to act in social situations. True. 100% true. 100% true. When I'm in social situations, especially parties without alcohol, it's what do I do with my hands? It's what do I do with myself? You know the best way for this, the best solution I found, and I think a lot of my friends have actually realized this too. It's the ultimate hack when you're in a situation, you just find work to do. So a lot of times, if I go somewhere someone else is hosting, I'm like, dude, what do you need help with? I will usher people in. I will, get people drinks. I'll whatever. Because then you always have something to do. It's actually the biggest hack that I've learned as I've gotten older. I can put myself in other shoes. No, I cannot. Never true. I have a hard time figuring out what some phrases mean. You are the apple of my eye. What? This is a weird question. You are the apple of my eye just means I like you, right? I guess. Never true. I only like to talk to people who share my special interests. 100% true. And that's why I love streaming so much. You can find people who share interests. Ooh, it's actually, guys, streaming is actually the most autistic thing, I feel like, because you can always talk about what you want to talk about. It's actually crazy. I dictate the flow of the conversation. I focus on details rather than the overall idea. Fuck, what does this mean? I don't know what this, I wish there was an opt-out. Is that also what type of trait is that? I don't want to commit here. I don't think so. I think I focus on the overall idea. I always notice how food feels in my mouth. Dude, some of these questions are weird. This is more important to me than how it tastes. Never true. Maybe I'm not autistic. I miss my best friends or family when we were apart for a long time. Never true. I don't miss anyone. I only miss my girlfriend. Sometimes I offend others by saying what I'm thinking, even if I don't mean to. This is a half true. I guess sometimes. Yeah. Dude, one time I said something so mean to my mom. Oh my God. You ever think back about something that you said and you're like, how the fuck could I ever say that? It was so messed up. So I think my mom, she majored in music and stuff. Oh my God. Please don't judge me. But this is when I was a kid. I said something along the lines of we were in the car together. She was driving me somewhere. And I was like, why didn't you make it in music or something? It was something weird. It was something so fucked up to say. I did not say, why are you bad at singing? Okay, but it was something along those lines or something. I wonder if she remembers. It was actually crazy to say. Maybe it wasn't even that bad. Maybe I'm overreacting and misremembering, but I feel like it was pretty bad to say. I only like to think and talk about a few things, yes. I'd rather go out to eat it at a restaurant by myself than with someone I know. I don't really go out to many restaurants anyways. I like eating at home. Maybe that's like the next level to this, you know? This is also hard because someone I know is so vague. If it's an acquaintance, I would not want to go. I would rather eat by myself. If it's a friend, I would want to eat with them, right? So if I didn't know who was going to be, I would choose myself. Like if it's not confirmed a friend and it could be like a coworker, 100% myself. I cannot imagine what it would be like to be someone else. I mean, I don't really care. I never think about being someone else. So I guess I don't imagine what it would be like to be someone else. I've been told I'm clumsy and uncoordinated. Never true. Others consider me odd or different. Guys, I consider myself odd or different, but I've never had like a friend say that I'm odd or different. But I really think I'm odd or different. So I don't know what to put here. I'll put true. I'll put true. It's weird how we each have our own perspective of how we are perceived, but like you don't actually know exactly how you're perceived. Guys, would the world be better if everyone had like a report card, like an anonymous report card of like how you're doing in life? Like, are you being a good friend? Everyone like submits a score for you and you just read that. People don't get enough feedback. And I think like it's hard to give people feedback, right? I understand when friends need to be comforted. Not really. I think I've gotten better at this because of my girlfriend. Like I try not to problem solve as much anymore. You know what? I'll say true only now. I'm very sensitive to the way my clothes feel when I touch them. How they feel is more important to me than how they look. Not really true. When I used to like follow my mom shopping when I was younger, I would touch every single piece of clothing and the workers would get mad at me. I would just go every single like thing and then just like touch every single one. Maybe it's true only when I was younger. I like to copy the way certain people speak and act. It helps me appear. Dude, this is crazy, you know? I don't think I've done that. Maybe I don't care enough. I feel like if I cared more about making more friends and stuff, I would maybe honestly do this. It could be very intimidating for me to talk to more than 1% at a time. Holy shit, yes. Strong yes. I have to act normal to please other people and make them like me. I think so. I don't think I can ever be my true self unless I'm streaming. Guys, this is the real me. Meeting new people is usually easy for me. Hell no. Meeting new people is hard because like, you know, part of me feels like I should just be myself, but I usually like mask who I am, right? And then if I determine that that person is cool, then I'll be my true me. Or not even cool, but like if we would get along. I make a lot of judgments and I'm like, is that person like into the stuff I'm into? It's a little dance and then I'll like unleash my true self. But I'll never be the first person to do it, you know? I get highly confused when someone interrupts me when I'm talking about something I'm very interested in. Not really. It is difficult for me to understand how other people are feeling when we are talking, I guess. I don't really think about how other people are feeling. Guys, I actually don't know. I might not be autistic. The more I'm doing this, the more I'm like, maybe I'm not autistic. I don't know. I'm actually curious what my score will be. I like having a conversation with several people, for instance, around no. I like having a conversation with a single person, never more than one person. Dude, the worst, guys, you know when there's like a long dinner table? Oh my God, that is the worst thing ever. Like it's a long dinner table and sometimes it's not big enough for like it to split into multiple conversations. Sometimes it's one conversation for like the 12 people. That is like my nightmare. I take things too literally, so I often miss what people are trying to say. I don't know. A lot of these I just don't care about. So I guess never true. Maybe it is true. It is very difficult for me to understand when someone is embarrassed or jealous. Never true. I experience embarrassment and jealousy. Some ordinary textures that do not bother others feel very offensive when they touch my skin. Never true. I get extremely upset when the way I like to do things is suddenly changed. True. Holy shit, true. This is the truest thing ever. Oh my God. I have my routine. Do not mess with it. I've never wanted or needed to have what other people call an intimate relationship. This is actually really hard. I don't know. I don't think like I'm a standard relationship person. I've never really like craved a relationship, but I think more recently I kind of do now. So I guess I'll do true only when I was younger than 16. It is difficult for me to start and stop a conversation. I need to keep going until I'm finished. No, never true. I speak with a normal rhythm. I think I speak with a normal... Dude, guys, do I speak with a non-normal rhythm? The same sound, color, or texture can subtly change from very sensitive to very dull. No. The phrase, I've got you under my skin, makes me uncomfortable. Yeah, I guess. Dude, who would... This is such a weird phrase. Who would this, like, not be okay with this? This is, like, the weirdest shit to say ever. What? Sometimes the sound of a word or high-pitched noise can be painful, yes. I'm an understanding type of person. Not really. I'm a mix. Honestly. Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. I think true only now that I'm a little older. I do not connect with characters in movies and cannot feel what they feel. I just don't think about when have I ever thought about what a character feels like? So I do not connect, yes. I feel like a lot of these questions are like, what do you think the other person is feeling? And I never think about what the other person is feeling like. I'm sorry. That makes me sound like an asshole, but I guess that sounds really bad. I cannot tell when someone is flirting with me, true. I can see in my mind in exact details things I'm interested in. Never true. I keep lists of things that interest me, even when they have no practical use. Never true. I feel overwhelmed by my senses. I have to isolate. Yes, true. Dude, I get overstimulated. But okay, you know what the crazy part is? Ever since I learned the word overstimulated, I feel like that has increased my overstimulation by like 1,000%. I'm like always overstimulated now. I like to talk things over with my friends. Never true. I like to keep it all bottled inside. I cannot tell if someone is interested or bored with what I'm saying. I think I can tell. Sometimes I choose to ignore it and keep going, but I can tell, I think. It can be very hard to read someone's face, hand, and body movements when they're talking. Never true. I think I'm actually really good at like small facial like things. The same thing can feel very different to me at different times. Not really true. I feel very comfortable with dating or being in social situations with others. Never true. Dude, some of my friends are like serial daters. And like, I can't imagine going on like 3 dates a week. 3 dates a week sounds miserable. I try to be as helpful as I can when other people tell me their personal problems. Not really. You know what? Actually, yes. But I'm more of a solver. I'm not a comforter. I'm a solver. I haven't told that I have an unusual voice. No, people usually like my voice, I think. Sometimes a thought or subject gets stuck in my mind and I have to talk about it even if no one is interested. Nope. I can just keep it to myself. I do certain things with my hands over and over again. Nope, never true. I bite my nails a lot. I don't think this really counts. I have never been interested in what most of the people I know consider interesting. True. Dude, when people talk about like reality TV or something, I'm like, snooze fest. Am I considered compassionate? I don't think so. It's weird. A lot of these though, it's like I have two sides to myself, I feel like. But I guess the side that is compassionate, I have to kind of like force it. I have to try really hard. Like, I feel like I'm deeply compassionate more than the normal person, but I'm like superficially less compassionate. Does that make any sense? Like, when someone makes like a big mistake and they get excommunicated, I will like stand up for them. But like, so that's why it makes this like really hard to answer. So I'm gonna say true, you know? I get along with other people by following a set of specific rules that help me look normal. I mean, I don't really get along with other people in any way. I guess never true. It is very difficult for me to work and true as fuck. One of my biggest weaknesses in life is working in groups. I'm so bad at it. When I am talking to someone, it is very hard to change the subject. If the other person does so, I can get upset and confused. I guess true, it is hard to change the subject. Yes, very, very hard. It's also really hard to end a conversation. It's so hard to end a conversation. Sometimes I cover my ears to block out painful noises. Yes. Doesn't everyone though? I can chat and make small talk with people. I would not consider it small talk. I think I'm bad at it. I really thought you were an extrovert. I think I put every streamer in this extrovert desk. I am 99.9% introverted. Whenever I take like one of those tests, I am basically as introverted as you can get. It's kind of crazy. Sometimes things I should feel painful are not, I guess. When talking to someone, I have a hard time telling when it is my turn to talk or listen. It's always my turn to talk. Dude, these questions are weird because like, I don't think about a lot of these things. Like, I never consider whether... So, I guess never true. I'm considered a loner by those who know me best, 100%. I usually speak in a normal tone, 100%. I like things to be exactly the same day after, 100%. How to make friends and socialize, 100%. I mean, it's not exactly a mystery now. I feel like to make friends, all you gotta do is form like a common bond. But will I do that? Probably not. I guess I will say true. I will say true only when I was younger than 16, actually. I think it's better now. I'm much better now. The thing about getting older, I feel like it could still be hard, but at least you know the tools. It calms you to spin around or rock in a chair. Yes. The phrase he wears his heart on his sleeve does not make sense to me. Never true. If I'm in a place where there are many smells, textures to feel, noises, or bright lights, I feel anxious or frightened. Yes. I don't know when this happened, guys, but for me, during COVID at some point, like, I used to go to, like, music festivals. But nowadays, or even concerts, I really don't like concerts and music festivals now because there's too much going on. I can tell when someone says one thing but means something else. I think I can, yeah. I like to be myself as much as I can, true. I keep my thoughts stacked in my memory like they're on filing cards. What the hell? No. The same sound sometimes seems very loud or very soft. I don't think so. I enjoy spending time eating or talking with my family and friends. This is so variable. Like, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I enjoy. Well, I guess I enjoy, yes. Only now. I don't think I enjoyed it as much when I was younger. I can't tolerate things I dislike. True. I don't like being hugged or held. Okay, I don't like being hugged or held by everyone besides my girlfriend. I guess fine. I think my girlfriend is an exception. True now and when I was young, yes. Dude, you know, I told you guys this. Like, half the reason I started going bald and shaving my own head is because I do not like when barbers touch my head. Like, that's honestly like one of the big reasons. Like, I just don't like being touched. So it is difficult to figure out what other people expect of me. I think so. I like to have close friends. I don't really care. This is bad. I feel like I've gotten more like isolated and stuff. I should care more, but as of now, it's not a huge deal for me. People tell me I give too much detail. No. Sometimes the other way around. I'm often told that I ask embarrassing questions. No. I respect people's privacy. I tend to point out other people's mistakes. No. I point out people's mistakes in my head a lot, but I don't actually like tell them. All right, guys. Any guesses? Any guesses? Dad, what do you think? Do they give you a score or what? You know, taking this test actually made me think I'm less autistic than I am. Let's see it. 125. Okay. It says what it means down there. Okay, so 125, language subtotal 9, social relatedness 71. I think higher number means bad. So I think my social is bad. Sensory is not bad. Language is not bad at all. And I think social is the only one that's bad. Okay, yeah, there's no good or bad. I mean like high. What do my scores mean? Autism is less likely based on this. Okay, so below 65 is probably not autistic. 65 to 105, your score suggests meaningful autistic traits, but it's not specific enough. So I'm in here. Substantial autistic traits. Probably, I'm like smack dab in the middle of this, right? Many people in this range choose a structured autism screening to determine whether autism is the best explanation. Guys, what do you even do if you're autistic though? There's no like next step, no? Is it just like better understanding? Like what would you actually do? I know ADHD, you have like medication or something that some people take, but like autism, you don't really do anything, no? It's just like, okay, therapy and understanding. Ah, yeah. 150 plus, your responses are highly consistent. Okay, so here we go. This is actually kind of interesting too. Social relatedness. So my biggest like autism like thing was like social relatedness. Feeling out of sync. I mean, this is kind of falls in line with like, I feel like I'm like a fucking alien. I feel like I never fit in with anyone unless it's like a specific like group, you know? How you communicate, interpret meaning, taking things literally. I don't really struggle with language, I think. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm not super like sensory. Dude, my girlfriend is dude, she's like 100 in sensory motor like stuff. It's actually like, she's so sensitive. Oh my God. And circumscribed interest. This was the second biggest one, right? Wait, no, sensory, I was actually decent. 30? Which ones did I measure high in? I don't even remember. Oh, I guess overstimulation sometimes. Deep, sustained focus on specific topics. Strong need for routine. Ooh, I love my routine. So yeah, as I figured, the test basically says you certainly have autistic traits. You very possibly have autism. Can someone score above the threshold and not be autistic? I guess. Interesting. Well, I show substantial autistic traits. This is actually a surprise for me. Like I said, I thought it'd be 150 plus. I do not have as many, I don't know what to call it, like autistic triggers as I thought I would. Interesting.